Hello, my name is Carmen Davenport from Black Dollar Indie, and you have joined Get the Bag Business Assets and Gains, where we talk to local businesses and partners who share their journey with us, their challenges, and their successes. Today, we have here with us Chenille Barrett, Martindale-Brightwood CDC, Small Business Director and Certified Coach.
Hello, thanks
How
for
are
having me.
you?
I'm great.
How's your week been?
It's been a week, a
It's been a
good
week.
week. I've been planning for a women's mini conference that we're
Nice.
having in March. So, a lot of planning. So, it's been
Okay.
exciting.
Tell us a little. I'm gonna jump ahead and just tell us a little bit about this
Yeah.
conference.
So, we are collaborating with Create, Connect, Collab, and Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the
Okay.
Chi Chi Omega chapter. So, we had already planned to have a women's conference. I reached out to Starlin Latava at CCC, and they were planning a women's
Oh
conference. So we
wow.
just decided to collaborate on it and make it happen.
You know
I'm
that's my
super excited
that's
about
my
that.
jam. Collaborations. I
Yes,
love it. I love
yes.
it. So I'm gonna back up just a little bit. I love to talk about the person behind the product or service.
Mhm.
So before we dig in too deep, I want to know who Chenille is. Tell us a little bit about Chenille.
I'm a coach, I'm a community curator. I'm all things about the community, about bringing people together and bringing out their best. So I came to the CDC as a life coach and previously working in a nonprofit, and the Micro Enterprise Navigator program just started. And it was about providing business coaching as well as technical assistance. So that's how I came on almost a year and a half ago, and it's just been upward moving since then.
Okay. And then for those who may not know or understand it, what exactly does micro enterprise mean?
So, micro enterprise, it has a couple different definitions. We go based on the definition of a small business with 5 or fewer employees, including the business owners. Sometimes micro enterprises were as defined according to how much money the business makes, but we just focus on 5 or fewer employees.
Just talk a little bit about the services you offer, some of the partnerships you may have,
Mhm.
and some of the spaces that you've been able to connect to in terms of just helping entrepreneurs out here.
I talk about the 4 C's. So that's capacity building, coaching, community, and capital. So we really focus on educating small business owners as well as training coaches. I went through a financial coach trainer program. And so
Mm,
we actually are coaching coaches. So that's exciting.
nice.
We do capital, like pitch contests. We are looking to do forgivable loans coming up soon.
Okay.
We also do community building, and that's probably what I'm most passionate about, in addition to the business coaching.
Okay. And so you said coach or teach the coaches, right?
Mhm.
Is there a certain criteria? Could I step into that space? What is some of the
Mhm.
criteria that you're looking for? Do you have to apply? Like, what's that process look like?
So we just finished our first training back in November, and we're going to have another one in April.
Okay.
It's open to people who work with entrepreneurs. We really focus on financial coaches. And the way that program came around is they noticed that business owners have a lack of access to capital. That's something you always hear about. But part of that is business owners are not aware of the connection between personal finances and business finances. So, just the everyday financial coach who's focusing on the personal, sometimes there's a disconnect in how they can connect with the
Mm,
entrepreneurs to understanding their business finances, how that reflects their personal finances, and no commingling of the money. A lot of times they're dipping into both pots, using
mhm.
business finances for personal things, and
Yes.
yes, so that is really exciting because now we're equipping everyday financial coaches to really help entrepreneurs with a focus on BIPOC entrepreneurs.
Okay. I like that. What would you say is the most challenging part of getting entrepreneurs to even talk to you about money?
Shame. That is
Really?
one thing.
Really?
Yes. So I noticed that a lot of the entrepreneurs they're aware of where they are. Um, they know that they are struggling with their finances, and so That's the biggest thing. I do a financial satisfaction scorecard when we start off.
Okay.
And it's basically to get them to verbalize what they probably already know about their finances and create some goals around that. But I think shame is a big thing. And then a lot of times the business owners come to deciding to start a business to solve a personal financial problem,
Mm.
and getting them to understand the importance of long-term strategy, business development, beyond making a dollar to solve yesterday's problem.
Why would you say it's important to support Black businesses and communities like Martindale-Brightwood?
Because we want to support wealth, the generation of wealth in Black communities and with business owners. Business ownership is a way to be able to do that. So supporting Black businesses and communities like this is so, 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 so crucial for that. Also for economic development, we focus on the economic development and sustainability. So when we're looking at long term, we don't want people to just come in and be around for a year or two unless that's their
Unless
plan.
it's
They have an
right.
exit strategy, but we want to set them up for long-term success and to really have that revenue and the growth. The reason why people decide to start a business to make money.
To make money. Yeah.
hmm
Even though sometimes we don't admit that's why.
Right. That's why you got to start with why. Why are you in the business? Okay, that's what separates a hobby from a business. If you don't care, you're just passionate about something, you might do that and not care about the money.
Yeah.
But the whole thing about entrepreneurship is about taking risks to make money. That's what separates an entrepreneur from other people. So you got to take those risks to make the money, to build the wealth.
I think I struggled with that for a while too. So
Mhm.
I think I understand that aspect. It took me a really long time to grasp that concept, right?
Because you love people, you're passionate about helping
Absolutely.
people, and striking that balance of having a passion and serving the community and having a business
Okay.
and making money.
Okay.
And it's possible to do both. It's possible to do both, but setting priorities is really important. Like, what's your overall goal? Some people may not want to make a lot of money. They just want to like break even or make a couple of dollars. Other people have lofty goals.
Is that real? Is that a real thing?
It is a real thing.
It's a real
Believe
thing.
it or not.
It's a real thing.
It's
Some
a
people
real
really
thing.
just don't want to make money. They're
I
good.
won't say they don't want to make money. They just don't care
Got you. Okay.
how much they're making.
Okay.
They have a nonprofit spirit and an LLC body.
Is that okay?
I think it is.
Okay.
Because
I'm
I
just
don't
making sure.
determine and decide what a person does or how
Right.
they define success.
Okay. Because I
Mhm.
thought for a second I was like, oh, she's talking about me. I was thinking, oh my goodness, she's
Not at
talking about
all.
me.
Not at all. And that's one of the things I love about coaching. So I'm not a business advisor where people come in and say what their problems are and I fix it and tell them what to do about their business.
Mhm.
I coach the small business owner. I coach the entrepreneur and help them identify what their goals are and create a strategy to get there. And also being able to observe and share any thoughts about mindsets, helping them identify their barriers and problem solve. So yeah, so that's part of it. So if
Okay.
you were to come to me and you say, I only want to make a dollar, I just want to break even.
Oh,
I have a conversation
you
about that.
You can work with me.
Yeah,
you
we'll
can
have a
work with that.
conversation about it, but
Yeah.
it's about you as the entrepreneur. That's my job, to show up and support you. If you're not making revenue, we're gonna have a conversation about, is this really what you want to do? Do you
Right.
want to have a business or do you want to have a passion project?
Okay. I like a passion project. I like that. So, can you give us one success story? Just give us something that stands out above everything else, something you remember.
I'll share one that comes to mind, and it is about a business owner who is a nail tech. She was doing nails out of her home. So it kind of limited who she could work with. She didn't want to have complete strangers just coming
Right.
into her home. She had been in business for a couple of years. We talked about being able to expand her business, but she needed access to capital. She needed capital. and lack the access, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
So I connected her with a non-traditional lender that we use. We often refer people to. She was so nervous the entire time. Like
Really?
she literally needed hand holding. So she would come into the office, like book multiple appointments in the same day to complete an application. She has a ton of anxiety, but she completed the application. She got approved for a loan.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She was able to move into a salon suite, and she's been doing nails there. It's beautiful. And so she's been able to increase her revenue because now she can have
Nice.
more people coming. So that is an example of a business owner who's willing to do the work, who's willing to take the risk of taking out a loan and not being afraid of that, so she can further her business.
The one thing that I like that you said is she is still,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
She is still resonates with me because quite often we start our journeys and then we're forgotten about, right? So she
Mhm.
is still means that you've kept up with her,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I think that it's important that programs don't just get you started, but they follow you, maybe not forever, but they follow your journey just to make sure you're okay. Is there
Mhm.
anything else you need? So that she is still is really, I think, what makes me appreciate and admire programs like Martindale-Brightwood CDCs. Edna Martin Christian Center presents the 2025 Entrepreneurship Showcase, May 10th from 11 to 4 at the Frederick Douglass Park Family Center, 1616 East 25th Street. Multiple vendors selling products and services, food, fun, music, and networking. Did I mention free? Yes, it's free for the entire family. So come out and support May 10th from 11 to 4 at the Frederick Douglass Park Family Center. Sponsored by IAAQLA. If somebody wanted to get in touch with you, and if you want to just kind of list off all the different services, kind of a la carte style, right?
Mhm.
How can they get in touch with you and just rattle off some of those a la carte services?
Mhm.
Because some people may hear the full picture and go, well, I just need this, but I'm not
Mhm.
really sure they do that,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So give us
Mhm.
some a la carte services and tell us how we can get plugged into that program.
So I will say I'll start off with how to plug in. The easiest way is to go into our website, mbcdc.org, and fill out a small business interest form.
Okay.
Yep. So that is the easiest
First
way.
step. First
Right.
step,
First
y'all.
step. First step.
Interest
Um,
form.
a la carte services, business coaching, financial education, business development, community. Okay, so here's the interesting thing about it. The community is my favorite part. I get really animated because I love it.
Okay, give us some
So we
animation.
have the micro enterprise meetups, and it is just a monthly meetup for small business owners to get together. We have fun. We always talk about something that will encourage like professional and personal growth. But the main thing is about the fun. And so now we also have the micro enterprise movie night. So we
Oh,
watch a movie, we'll have some popcorn and pizza and talk about some principles of business from the movie. So I'm going to say like maybe a third of the people who come to the meetups, they don't engage in any other services. They literally come for the
really?
community. So like you're saying, we offer a la carte things. Then also we have pitch contests. A lot of people come in through the grants, like the facade grants. There was micro lending, like I said, that we are looking to get back
Mm-hmm.
into. So different things like that. Business coaching. One of the things I love about the way that we coach is that it's not focused on a set program. There is a program being developed now, but other than that, like people can come in and say, I want to like get a pulse on my business. How am I doing? What can I do differently? They might choose to come in every week, every couple weeks. They might pop in as needed. So we make it really easy to connect.
Okay.
And because a lot of our business owners have a day job, we want to be flexible to their needs. Also, families are a lot of different demands. So I focused a lot on the work life hustle balance. And so just trying to be available as people need that.
I like that. Access.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Being available. I love
Mm-hmm.
that. And so what's that email address they can, or that website they can connect to?
CM Barrett, Barrett, at nbcdc.org. And then nbcdc.org is where they can go and fill out a small business interest form.
Okay. And then you said that you have meetups. Are these meetups at the Martindale-Brightwood CDC site or?
Yes, so they are in May, except for May. In May, we get together out in the community somewhere fun.
Okay.
So we'll be doing that. The meetups, you just RSVP by emailing me.
Okay.
But the movie night, you RSVP by registering on the website under events.
Okay. So Martindale-Brightwood CDC website, register, interest form, or for one of the events, right?
Yes,
and then you can walk in too.
You can walk
So I
in.
can walk in and request services. And...
Yes, you can. Yeah, and if I'm not available, there will be a paper interest form.
Okay. Okay. So, just a couple more questions. How do you define success in business development?
I would say definitely like money. Do you make revenue? Do you have an increase in revenue? Do you have good customer retention? Are you expanding if that's your plan? Definitely cash flow management, being tight, that's important. But those are some things that I think about. Customer service and retention, that's something people often don't think about. They're thinking, I want to get a sale, and that's that. But you want repeat customers. You want people who are going to refer you. So building strong relationships is essential to having a successful business.
The last thing we like to ask our guests is, what's in your bag, right? What is your biggest asset or gain?
Community.
Community. We're going back to community. I love
Community
it.
is everything.
I love it.
Relationships, they're king. Okay, cash is king, obviously.
Okay.
But the other thing is relationships are king in business. Having those strong relationships and looking at relationships as the core of being a good business owner.
Okay.
And I think that is really important when you're trying to get customers, when you're building your brand, when you're establishing who you are. That's important. So I think community is the biggest thing. And we do it well. Our micro enterprise meetups.
Well, there you go. You heard it here from Chenille Barrett of CDC, Martindale-Brightwood CDC. So I really appreciate you coming by. Is there anything new or exciting? I know you said you're getting ready to have a conference, but if we wanted to look 2, 3, 4 years down the line, is there any big plans for Martindale-Brightwood CDC that you can talk about?
I was going to say, I can't tell you everything. I can't tell you the secrets, darling. Just continuing to expand and grow. We hope to get more business coaches on for sure as we build out the department. So business coaching, additional resource and training and education, kind of formalizing some of that.
So what piece of advice would you give new entrepreneurs just looking for a way to start their business, grow their business, sustain their business, and they don't know what to do? They have this fear of getting started or even investing in themselves. What piece of advice would you give them?
I would say do good research. And when I say that, like checking out the SBA's website, checking out SCORE's website, which SCORE's nonprofit of business mentors who mentor other business owners or people in startup stage. But getting as much information, starting with the business plan.
Okay. Business plan.
Business planning. So you can reach out to a coach or another organization that serves entrepreneurs to get started. But planning ahead is everything. Planning ahead and getting really good with your finances.
Thank you so much for coming by. You should come by and see us again.
Okay, I will.
All right. Well, you have heard it here. This is Carmen Davenport from Black Dollar Indie. Thank you for tuning in to Get the Bag, Business Assets and Gains, where success is in your bag.